Hello everyone, I'm Scruffy at Scruffy Tales, and you just found the War Zone. And in this video we will take a look at Sweden's next combat vehicle, the CV90-35. But before we move on with that, I would like to highlight another video of mine detailing the real-life mission involving UN soldiers fighting a cannibal uprising in the middle of Africa. And the link to that video is down in the description, and at the end of this video there will be a teaser for that video, so please check that one out. Right, moving on. So what we know is that Sweden will put in an order in early 2024 in order to get production started as soon as possible on the CV90s that will replace the vehicles that were donated to Ukraine. And Sweden have chosen to purchase CV90-35s instead of the traditional CV90-40s that Sweden has used since the 90s. And the question is why this is. Why has Sweden moved away from the 40mm Bofors automatic cannon to a 35mm chain gun instead? Is it because of lessons from Ukraine, or is it because the CV90-35 is more readily available for production? Maybe it will take too long to develop a new turret and design a new turret that will include all the high-tech stuff that you want from a modern vehicle, but you have to, get it to work together within the cramped area of a turret together with the big 40mm gun. So maybe that will take too long to put together, and we need the vehicles here and now, so therefore they gone with the next best thing, which is the 90-35, which, you get all the high-tech cool stuff and the new designs, and with a very capable gun, just not the big gun that we're used to. Just to get things going as quickly as possible and to be time efficient in order to, boost the now depleted strength of the mechanized units. Or, it could be that the Swedish army has seen the combat record of the CV90s in Ukraine, and that intel, that data, has convinced the Swedish army that a belt-fed chain gun is more effective than the magazine-fed autocannon, right? That could actually be it. So Sweden will now get the CV90 Mark III-C. And as far as I understand it, it was introduced in 2004, the Mark III at least. And in 2005, Denmark adopted the vehicle. Its coaxial machine gun is capable of quite high elevation, which allows it to engage difficult locations and targets in an urban environment. And the commander has also the ability to independently track targets with his own telescope thing, which allows the commander to help the gunner to locate threats much more efficiently. So, he can independently look around while the turret is looking somewhere else. And I believe the official term is hunter-killer, if I'm not mistaken. So, the commander and the gunner, they can cooperate more efficiently in locating, finding, and engaging targets. It also has sensors that detects lasers aimed at it, so which are linked with the smoke launchers, so the Mark III can quickly obscure itself from incoming laser-guided anti-tank-guided missiles or other vehicles that are relying on laser rangefinders in order to more accurately target the CV90. And also the same sensors allows the Mark III to swing around with the turret and aim it straight at the enemy that are using the laser. So if it is a enemy vehicle, you can swing around immediately with the turret and engage that vehicle with the autocannon, or in this case a chain gun. And apparently Sweden will get a vehicle that is very similar to the CV9035 currently in use by the Netherlands. It's not going to be the exact same vehicle, but close to it. And interestingly, the Dutch have a CV90 that includes an active protection system, and that is basically a small gun on top of the turret that uses the sensors we talked about before to detect incoming projectiles such as a missile or stuff like that. And using this small gun, it then fires at the incoming missile and destroying it before it can reach the CV90. Very simplified explanation of what the active protection system is. It can engage RPG rounds, ATGMs, or stuff like that that's coming at you. So it destroys the incoming missile or RPG round before it hits the actual vehicle. Dishwashing in the background. It also has, incredibly enough, an elevating mast for the commander, and it has goddamn washing machine, a dishwasher. It has scopes and stuff, sensors atop of this mast that it goes straight up, and giving the commander sort of a bird's eye view. He can, take a peek over buildings, take a peek over a ridgeline, take a peek over trees and what have you, and that allows him to, basically take a look at his surrounding area without exposing the vehicle itself. Very nifty, I have to say. And of course, the Dutch CV90 also includes anti-tank guided missiles, in this case Spike long-range missiles, 2 of them in a pod. And Sweden's next anti-tank guided missile will be the French Akron. That is also in use by Ukraine, by the way. So I think it is very likely that the STRF 9035 will have the Akron instead of Spike, if it will have ATGMs at all, that is. The Akron will be called Robot 58 by the Swedish Armed Forces. And if installed into the STRF 9035, it will give the Swedish CV90 beyond line of sight capability. In other words, able to engage armored targets without needing a direct line of sight. I just realized I picked the wrong moment to record this video in the kitchen, and the dishwasher is having a party. Anyway, moving on to the fun stuff, the 35mm chain gun. Or is it 50mm? The chain gun in this case has a reduced rate of fire if we compare it to the old 40mm autocannon. The chain gun has 200 rounds per minute, and the old Bofors gun was around 300 rounds per minute. And as far as I can tell, the CV9035 only has 70 rounds available. But the Dutch, they got a new turret and they moved the gun forward a bit, and that allowed more space for an additional 12 rounds within the vehicle. And this is in sharp contrast to the 9040 that carried 230 rounds in total within the vehicle. But the 35mm chain gun can fire, a full host of various ammunition types, including programmable ammunition, which should negate some of the issues of the low ammo count. If you have programmable ammunition, then the 70 rounds you carry can engage basically any target you come across. So that should help out a lot with the low ammo count. The chain gun can also be converted into firing 50mm shells. And what you need to do is swap the barrel, obviously, and then the special 50mm super shot ammunition can be used by the weapon's feeding system without issue. All you need is to swap up the barrel, and the mechanics of the weapon can still handle the 50mm round. How? Who knows? Sounds insane, but apparently it's a thing. And the 50mm super shot is said to be somewhere between a 40mm, a traditional 40mm, and a traditional 45mm in effectiveness, due to it not being a true 50mm round, but rather a 50mm round designed to work with the 35mm feeding systems, right? So it's a hybrid round of some sort, so it's not a big full-blown 50mm round. Somehow, I don't know, but that's what I found at least. And it's quite interesting. And so you can get a very effective gun that is more powerful than the 35mm and even more powerful than the 40mm, which is quite incredible. And considering that US Army is testing a true full-blown 50mm autocannon for its future IFV, intended to replace the Bradley, then maybe this is an indication that Sweden also might be looking for a 50mm option as well. And the fact that this 35mm chain gun can be converted into a 50mm, maybe that is why they went with this option with the CV90 35 rather than a new CV90 40. Because here you have a modern vehicle with all the high-tech gadgets in it, readily available for production, that can easily be upgraded to have a very, very powerful 50mm gun that, as far as I can tell, is even more powerful than the old Bofors gun. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but doesn't seem all that unlikely. But, yeah, we'll see what happens with it. And that's all I have for you this time around. A brief, quick look at what I found using Google. And remember, in just a couple of seconds, there will be a trailer for another video of mine. Link in the description concerning a mission involving UN soldiers in Africa fighting cannibals. Check it out. It's incredible. It's insane. And my dishwasher is fucking up my video one more time. Have a good one. Bye.